welcome to my channel. In this video, I will share with you a beautiful bag recipe that is made by a famous brand and is very easy and enjoyable to make. I want to show you the model closely. Look, it is a very easy example. We will prepare it with only handrails. I want to show it on the side of our bag. Look at the base again. Likewise, let's look at the handle detail. I want to show it on the inside. It's a very deep bag. You can use this as a daily bag or as a beach bag. It can be used in two ways. You can adjust the size as you wish. You don't necessarily have to make it in these sizes. Again, in the video, I share with you the detailed dimensions of our bag step by step. In the video, you can also find the size of our bag and how much rope I used. It was a very useful piece. The original bag did not have a lining. If you want, you can sew a lining on this bag or use it with a bag. This is entirely up to your taste. I worked exactly in accordance with the original. It turned out really nice with this thread. I used Slim Cotton Plus yarn from Spaghetti Yarn. If you are going to make this type of knitted bags, I recommend you to choose Slim Cotton Plus yarn from Spaghetti Yarn with such cotton yarns. I really enjoyed it. It was a nice work. I hope you like it and try it too. Before moving on to our detailed recipe, I would like to make a small request from you. I would be really happy if you could subscribe to our channel for free, like the video and leave your comments. Let's move on to our recipe. I will use spaghetti yarn and slim cotton plus yarn for my knitting. Here, I prepared my bag by using 2 balls of cream color and 3 balls of green color, making a total of 5 balls. I want to share the characteristics of the rope with you immediately. Its mixture is 70% cotton, 30% polyester. It weighs 100 grams. It is 150 meters long. Look, the texture is like this. I want to show it closely. There are many different color options. You can also look at different color options by visiting spaghettiyard.com. By the way, I have a nice discount news from Special Spaghettier for my subscribers. I want to share spaghettiyard.com. You can complete your shopping with a 10% discount with the code KULKAN10, which you can use for purchases of 100 TL or more at this beautiful discount. I would like to thank the family for spaghetti. First of all, we will start by preparing these colorful pieces. Look, we will knit 2 of this piece. It will be a rectangular piece like this, only with handrails. We will prepare this. I will now describe to you how I did this. Look, I want to take my light colored yarn and show you its texture. In this way, my crochet number will be 3 millimeters. You can determine your own crochet number according to the thinness and thickness of your own yarn, the density and looseness of your knitting. Since we will use this bag without a lining, this yarn can normally be knitted with 3.5, 4.5 yarn. But since we will be preparing a bag without a lining, I do not want the rope to sag. Therefore, I will prepare my bag by working with a small numbered crochet hook. Now let's start by pulling our chains here. We make the first chain into a lock. After the lock chain, we will pull our chain in multiples of 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. What do multiples of 3 mean? We can prepare our chains in the form of 3 plus 3 plus until they reach the length we want. I see here the model consists of multiples of 3. I built a total of 25 models here. We will prepare our chains in multiples of 3. 1, 2, 3. At the end, after making our chains in multiples of 3, we will make a plus 2 chain at the end. 1, 2. When I started, I prepared my knitting by turning the reverse part of the chain instead of the straight part. Look, it's the same way again. Now I will describe our model to you in a small piece. We are preparing this example. Now we will use the reverse part of our chain. Let's take the example aside. I'm stuffing it into my crochet hook. I leave the first, second, third chains at the beginning and sink into the back cut line of the 4th chain. I removed the loop from this point. I have 3 stitches and I'm filling them up. I refill both together. By knitting them together, I create a double handrail. We accept a handrail in the first 3 chains. We got around. Look inside another chain. We remove the loop by sinking into the back cut line and knit a double handrail. When we do it like this, look at the beginning. It looks like a spike like the ending here. We fill in another chain. We immediately sink into the back cut line of the next chain and knit a double handrail again. Now look until the end of the row. We prepared our chains in the form of 3 plus 3 at the end by pulling plus 2 chains. that is, multiples of 3. We prepare this by pulling +2 chains at the end until we reach the size we want. Then we knit a row of double handrails. This is how it starts. Now we have 25 models in total here. You will prepare it as a chain of 25 times 3 plus 2. You can set the number of chains this way. Now I come to the end of the row by knitting my banisters. Look, we knitted our banisters until the last chain. Now, to see if we have done the number correctly here, we will count the handrails 3 by 3 together with the chain at the beginning. Look, I'm counting chains too. 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. In this way, we need to prepare our handrails in multiples of 3. If you don't want to deal with counting chains, you can pull your chains more and more until you reach the size you want. About 5 centimeters, 10 centimeters more. Then, after knitting your handrails in multiples of 3, if there is any remaining chain, you can remove it by cutting or removing it. You can also do it this way. Now we have set up our banister row in multiples of 3. What are we doing? We chain 1, 2, 3 and turn our knitting. We wrapped it around the head of our crochet hook. Look from the banister at the beginning. I am separating 1, 2, 3 handrails. Look, 3 groups are on the right side. I immediately sink into the gap, the wide gap between the banisters. Look, I'm sinking into this gap and knitting a double handrail. 3 of them. 1, into the same space. 2, into the same space. I'm on my 3rd handrail. I count 1, 2, 3 handrails again. I'm opening this section now, and I knit 3 double handrails in this gap. 1, in the same space, 2 in the same space, 3. I fill the handrail group. I separate 1 or 2, 3 handrails. Look again, there are 3 handrails left. I knit 3 handrail groups again, sinking into the wide gap from time to time. At this stage, if you think I knitted too fast, you can slow down the video or, on the contrary, watch it by speeding it up. I separate the 3 handrails and knit the 3 handrail group by sinking into the wide gap in between. Now look, there are 3 handrails left at the end. What am I doing? I'm filling up. Since the last handrail point is the point with the chain, I sink to the top of the chain that comes after this handrail, remove the loop and knit a double handrail. Now look, in the next row, there is the exit point where we go with 3 chains, and here is the handrail part with a pole point. When we look at it, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We knitted a triple handrail group. In my big piece, there were 25 of them. In the next row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the next row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 6 in the first row, 5 in the next row, 6, 5, 6, 5 again in the next row. Look, these edges are our ending and starting points. These are the pole parts. These are important for the model to fit. Now we continue. With 3 chains, we go up again. We will use 3 chains at a time. Now we accept 3 chains as a handrail here. We got around. Look, we are sinking into the first gap between the triple banister group and weaving 2 handrails into this space. 1. In the same space. 2. Together with the chain at the beginning, we have obtained 3 handrails. So we are actually repeating the first row. Here we knitted the triple handrail group. We are filling up. We skip the triple banister. 2. Look, we sink into the wide gap between the group and weave 3 double handrails into this gap. 1, 2 and 3. We are filling up. Again, we will work on our knitting by sinking into the wide gap between the triple banister group and then sinking into these gaps. Only in the beginning, we knitted the banisters by sinking into each chain. Why do we do it this way? Because we will be assembling the last bellows and the side bellows. We do not want a gap in between. From where? Look, these are our last row. While we are finishing this piece, we will finish it with a banister. So look at it as in the beginning. It is important to do this to get the same image. So it's important to make that start. This beginning is important for it to be like the ending. Now we will continue this way. I want us to do it together first at the end of the row. We will proceed by knitting three-way handrail groups at these intermediate points. From now on, knitting will continue like this. But the number is, for example, I started with 25 in this one. The next row was 24. In the next row, the pattern repeats itself as 25, 24, 25. Now we are at the end of the line. Look, we have a chain and triple handrail group point here. We sink into this gap and we knit the last 3 handrail group here. 2, 3, look, we finish the row like this. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups started again. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups. We did it this way. Now it's the same process again. We go up with 3 chains and turn our knitting. We wrapped it around. Look, I don't touch the group of 3 at all. I immediately sink into the wide gap in between. We are repeating the second row. I am immediately knitting the triple banister group. Look, I am filling in the next point. Let's get right to the finish line. Now look, we have come to the end of the line. We knitted the last group of 3 handrails. We need to finish. While doing the finish, look at the same as in the beginning. We went up with 3 chains. This is a pole point. Now we had to make the pole point here. We click on the chain that comes after the handrail and create our pole point by knitting a double handrail at this point, then go up again with 3 chains and look at the gap in between. By knitting 2 cat handrails in this gap, because the chain at the beginning accepted 1 handrail in every 3 chains, we will have made a strong group. Look, in the third row here, it is exactly the same. That is, we will have repeated the first row again. With the triple handrail groups, we will have obtained the number we got at the beginning. But what will we do in this order? Color. We will make the change. Look here, in our big example, the model changed every 5 rows. Both the cream color changed every 5 rows and the green color changed every 5 rows. Now I will share the color transition with you here. Look, we knitted 5 rows and changed colors. We knitted 5 rows and changed colors. The color transition is like this. Cream green, cream green, cream green. Then we finished with cream again. The handle will come to these 2 points. At this green point in the middle, there will be a point between the 2 open handles. Let's switch to our green color. Look at what we were doing while finishing here. 3 handrails to the power chain point. We are knitting 2 of them. While knitting the third one, look, I remove the stitch. I have 3 stitches to fill. I knit both together. I keep 2 stitches waiting. I wrap this cream-colored yarn around my hook. I take my green-colored rope. Look, I'm holding it like this right here. I wrapped my green thread around the head of my hook again. Now it looks like 4 stitches, but what do I do now? I pass my green rope through all the loops, and at this point, just 1 or 2 or 3. I will draw 3 chains. Look, he's stuck on a bit of a short rope. I'm leaving these here. I'll also cut my cream-colored rope here. I will hide these last. Look, I will make the color transitions this way. I'm turning my knitting. I wrap the head of my hook. Look, without touching the 3 handrails, I sink into the gap between them and knit the triple handrail group. So we repeat the second row of our model. Then look, when I pull these like this, we will have gathered the real point. I fill it. Look, the exact same knitting continues. I just changed the color. When we change the color, we do it this way. What will we do next? We will knit 5 rows in green color, just like we did here in cream color, and then we will switch to cream color again. As we did here, what did I do here? I hid the green color from the point where the green color is, and it is again cream color. Here we fixed it at the point where our cream braid is, and hid it nicely, and cut off the remaining threads, and completed it. Look, this is how we do it in our color transition. The model is just that easy example. As I said, we are preparing 2 of this piece. I would like to give you the measurements immediately. Look, we can say that our new knitting is 34 centimeters. Our measurement is 39 hours. Now look here. I prepared our side blind. Our side blind consists of 12 handrails. See how we will do this. I measured it like this. We knitted our handrails completely by eye. We will place them like this. Look. I knitted a little too much here. If it's incomplete, I'll leave the thread here. We can knit it later. If it becomes too much, we will dismantle it. We will not merge from here. We will start assembling from this end. And as an extra, look, we have handles here. Our handles consist of 2 to 4 6 handrails. Here are 2 stalks. I will quickly explain to you how I knit these. While knitting the stems, I leave long threads at the beginning. With the Atamin needle at the beginning and end, I can easily assemble my handles and bag. The handles consist of 6 handrails. The side bellows consist of 12 handrails. How do I knit the side bellows and handrails? I'll just describe it to you with a small example. I still use the same crochet trick. When starting the pastry, I started right from the bottom, but I left some yarn when I started knitting the handle. You can leave some rope and adjust the number of handrails as much as you want, whatever width you want. I will give the width of the side blind right away. I won't give you the height. You can adjust the length according to the piece you knit. The depth of the bag will be 6 centimeters. Let's measure the depth of the handle as follows. 3 lengths. The length of the handle is 53 centimeters. The length of our handle is 3 centimeters by 53 centimeters. Now let's pull some of our chain. As I said, you can adjust this as much as you want. Again, the same initial logic. By pulling our chains in the form of multiples of 3 plus 2, we prepared 12 handrails here and 6 handrails in the other one, as I said. Here we turn our knitting after pulling our chain. We wrap it around the head of our tarte crochet, leaving the 1, 2, 3 chain at the beginning and sinking into the 4th chain. We are making a double handrail. We knit, wrapped it around another chain and made a double handrail again. Look, it is exactly the same process as we did in the beginning, only what is different here? We have a little trick in the turns. Let's sink into the last chain. Now, since we have described a small example here, we have obtained the handrail as we did with 2, 4, 6 handles. Now, while making the turn, I slightly stretch the stitch, I turn my knitting directly, I sink into the first gap that comes up, I took out a stitch, you have 2 stitches, I fill them, single needle, then I pull a chain and accept this single needle and chain as a handrail, I complete it, look at the next gap that comes immediately, the handrail sinks into the top gap and double. I am knitting a handrail. I need to have the same number of handrails as I did at the beginning. Now let's move on to the last point. Look, I will tie the chain to the point. Now we accept the handrail in the chain. We also knit a double handrail by sinking into the chain. And look, we have 2, 4, 6 handrails. We stretch the stitch again. I turn my knitting, sinking into the first gap that comes up and removing the stitch. After the single crochet, I fill in a chain. I sink into the top of another gap and immediately continue knitting a double handrail again. An important point here. I sank at the top of the last railing. I'm counting. I had 2, 4, 5 handrails. I got around. Immediately there was a single crochet chain. We immediately sink into the gap where there is a single chain and weave a double handrail. This is how we finish. We stretch the loop and turn our knitting. Single needle, sinking into the first space that comes to mind. We fill a chain. By sinking into another space that comes next, knitting our handrails for each one in turn, keeping the same number, be sure to check your knitting numbers from time to time, especially if you are just starting out. You won't be stuck too much or too little. You can check this. Now we are knitting the last handrail by sinking into the chain. Look at it this way, the edges are very smooth and regular. We prepared the handle and side bellows in this way. Now I want to combine our side bellows and this part here. I have shared our 2 front and back pieces with you in inches. Look, the starting part of my knitting will be on the straight side. The rest will stay inside. Now right here in this section we will join with single crochet. This process starts immediately with our green color. Or I got my green color. I leave some rope and immediately form a loop with a chain. And here, look, I turn the flat side of this piece to the outer part like this. Let's place this piece first. Then we will place the other one. I put the other piece aside. Look, we are joining it from the flat part. So, we created our loop from the outside of the bag. First, look, I'm sinking into that chain spot where the green piece is. Then I sink to the point where the handrail on the opposite piece is. Look, this corresponds to the chained point. I immediately sink into the part where the chain is. After inserting the two pieces mutually, we remove the loop and start joining them with a single needle. I will sink to the intermediate point. Look at the chain dot this way. Then I will sink to the point on the opposite handrail, remove stitch and knit. I immediately sink into a suitable void in this piece. Again, look at the next railing on the opposite piece. The chain point has arrived. I knit a single crochet into the chain. Here, we sink into the handrail and sink into the next handrail and look at the appropriate gaps, opposite each other. I sink, we sink mutually, and make a loop. Look directly in the form of a single needle. A single needle. We will combine the part of our dead body. I want to show it like this. Look, we will combine it like this until this end, then turn it. Turn it upside down like this and look at the other piece. We will take it like this and start assembling the other piece from here. Starting from here, we will have assembled our bag completely by combining the three edges as we did on the other side. Then, we will have finished our bag by placing our handles. We have joined the side blind to our bag. Now you see the front and back of our bag. Now look, we continue here. We do not break the thread at this end. Let's put our rope aside like this. I pull a chain and look at the point where the handrail is green. I start from the first handrail. We will pass the mouth of our bag with a single needle in a row, sinking to the bottom parts. Look at the points where the handrails are. I am sinking. I came across the chain part here. I knit the short rope by hiding it at this stage. Then we will have cut our rope and removed it. Let's go through the banisters one by one. We do not do anything different here. We knit one single crochet on each handrail. We will get to this point. Finally, in this part, we will break our yarn and knit a row of single needles. Look, I sink to the bottom of this last point and move on to the needle green point. Look, I'm going to the front and hiding the short ropes. I sink into the appropriate spaces and sink into the wide space with the chain. I knit 2 single crochets into this space. I sink to this intermediate point. Look again, the chain dot coincides with 2 crochets at this point. Go to another point and look again. If you knit too many single crochets, the ones with few needles will behave. We do not want that. It is appropriate like this. We knit our single needles in the gaps and proceed to the point where we started and break our thread here. Then, we finish our bag quickly by sewing the handles we prepared before with the help of an Etemin needle. We completed it by sewing our handle onto our bag. It was really easy and enjoyable to make. I hope you like it and try it too. I wish good luck to those who will do it. Don't forget to like our video, leave a comment and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye until we see you in the next video.